So I had another dream last night and quite vivid, quite realistic actually. Um there wasn't as much symbolism in this dream as in your face kind of hard hitting, very realistic type scenarios and situations. It didn't feel very symbolic. It might have been. I'll get into that later, but it felt more literal. And basically, I was in New York and I was in my old neighborhood actually, and I recognized it to be my old neighborhood where I spent quite some time in. This would be Brighton Beach, Sheepshead Bay area. Looked very familiar. And I was seeing that nothing was operating. The subways were not moving at all. There was very few cars or buses on the road. Everything transportation wise grinded to a halt, it seems. Everything was very desolate and kind of boarded up, and nothing was working. Everything just felt dead. But one thing that really kind of stood out in my mind was that I saw mountains and mountains of garbage literally piled up like 10, 15 feet high. And having lived in New York, there's nothing abnormal about garbage. There's garbage everywhere. It's a filthy, disgusting city, but this is like doesn't even compare to even that. Like multiply that by 50. Like the place was just absolute filth. And there were these pockets of people standing in certain corners, and they were standing very close together for some reason. And they looked kind of confused and kind of angry at the same time. They weren't protesting like what you would see as a traditional protest. They would be like screaming at something. They're all like standing in these circles on the street corners. All of them were on corners for some reason, yelling and screaming about something for some reason. And I was just standing there and observing and trying to kind of look at the few cars that would drive by here and there. And a bus drove up, and the bus driver came out and threw me the keys, and he said, "You drive the bus." And so, kind of shocked, I kind of went in and got into the bus, and I made an attempt to pick up people. I almost felt like I was lost on my route. Like I kept having this feeling like I kept having wrong turns, and like I was turning all over the place, and I would just come up to another corner with all these people, and when I would open the door for them, most of them would not want to get in. There would be a handful of people that would want to get in, but most of them didn't. And so I kept driving around in circles and circles and circles, and finally I drove up. I found myself on a highway, and I drove off an exit ramp, and there was an ambush, or there was a guy, just one guy, um, in a car. I remember exactly what he looked like, kind of a younger black male, and he kind of took out a weapon, and he kind of approached my bus, and he told me to get out. And me and the passengers, we got out of the bus, and I guess he stole it, or I don't recall what happened to the bus. And I proceeded to walk to what I thought was my home, or walk home, or whatever it may be. And and I did. And when I got home, I saw a couple of people I didn't recognize, but I felt as if though they were my family members in the dream. Nobody I recognize in this lifetime at all. kind of like dark skinned people, maybe Latino looking people. And I noticed that they were extremely thin and malnourished. And that kind of really caught me off guard. And the whole situation, the whole dream was very dark and tense. Having said that, I looked up the meaning of being a bus driver in the dream, and I've actually had a multitude of dreams throughout my life in which I was driving a bus, and the meaning is not a very pleasant one. It's kind of depressing. It means driving around in circles and going nowhere in life, which is certainly something I can relate to over the years. And that definitely hit it on the head if it means that, or if it means something I perceive it as being a possible, not possible, but a most likely type near future we're going to witness with all systems broken and nothing working or operating at all, and everybody will fend for themselves, which is kind of what I'm seeing coming anyway. And as dark as that is, that's what it looks like. So take it however you want. Goodbye.